you've had a long, varied and very successful career across many parts of healthcare, and I'm wondering whether you could tell us about, where that started for you and the key roles that you've had along your career journey.
Well, I guess when I graduated in medicine, I was really tossing up between management and clinical medicine. And I'd spent a lot of time as a student, as a year rep. I'd edited journals, not student politics, but the management side, and I enjoyed that. I started to talk to a lot of people about getting into management because, as you well know, there was no easy entry progression in the system. And probably the best bit of advice I got, and I think it was from Bernie Amos, who said to me, you ought to, whether you go into management or not, it would be a good idea to get a higher clinical degree, because many of your peers, clinical peers, who you'll be sort of in charge of, will think you're crazy to go into management, but they won't regard you as stupid if you've got the same degree as they have. In those days, a lot of medical people sort of fell into management by default because they didn't go on and do a clinical degree, or they did it and failed or something or other, so they didn't earn the respect of their clinical peers. So it was on that advice that I did that, and then I went back, and Roger Vanderfield and Bernie Amos recruited me to help commission that big new development back in the 70s at North Shore. So that gave me the start, and then by good luck Bernie went to Westmead and I took his job and started to build a career that way.
And then you moved down to Melbourne, I believe, and then into private health?
Yeah, I suppose I look back and think what you did correctly or you were smart at doing was that I tried to get a bit of a profile in doing some managerial research. We call it utilisation review, quality assurance, a bit of epidemiology stuff at North Shore, which put me on the speaking circuit and things like that. So I got known, and I was on the Council of College Physicians and the AHA and the ACHS, and so I got known outside Sydney, and I got approached to take on the job of the CEO of the Children's Hospital in Melbourne, which was an iconic institution that had fallen on hard times, never had a CEO, and I was the first medical person and the first formal CEO they had. At a time when the hospital was in serious trouble, failed to be accredited, which was a huge blow, and the board had suddenly realised something was wrong, which was a wonderful opportunity because it gave me carte blanche to initiate a lot of change, which is probably my interest as a change agent. So I was there for 10 years and then was recruited to Main Nicholas, which was a trucking company in those days, to run its embryonic health business. And it was another exciting period. We grew that from when I started, there were 6 little country hospitals. And in those days, private for-profit hospitals were little. You'll excuse the expression, what we call little shitboxes. They were all converted houses with an operating room stuck on somewhere. And we built that into a huge, the biggest private private hospital group, and we were really competing with the public sector doing tertiary care, cardiac surgery, neurosurgery, and co-locations and privatisations. So it was an extraordinary opportunity to go with a trucking company into healthcare.
Do you think that the trucking company, with some of the disciplines they would have, did that sort of help with the performance management aspect or other aspects of management?
There's sort of 2 answers to that, Wayne. The first is that yes, some of the KPIs that they used in some of those businesses were quite useful, and we certainly had a good reporting system, weekly reporting of financials, and that was good. But that was about it, and I think we made up a lot of stories about the strategy, but it was really quite serendipitous. It was per chance that they got into it, and they had some very good people before my time who were running it, and Maine's great contribution was they didn't interfere. They let us get on with it, and they were really a bank, and had a lot of money, cash from Armour Garden and trucking businesses, and they were able to bankroll us. We doubled in size, and as we made acquisitions, and but we still tried to keep the basic concept of how we ran the hospitals, which subsequently changed when Peter Smedley took over.
But what do you think of that era, if you want to comment on that?
Well, you don't have to comment, because Smedley actually destroyed the hospital business because he tried to apply the principles of running service stations and financial businesses to medicine, and he regarded doctors as just another commodity, and we'll give them any colour they like as long as it's black, and we'll show them. Well, the doctors showed him, and he virtually destroyed it because he didn't understand that doctors are different. And I always remember Bernie Mackay saying when he was head of the health department that what people don't understand in Treasury and other places is that in most industries, when you sit at the top and pull a lever, something happens down there. But in health, there's something down there as doctors mainly, who spend the money and make the decisions. They're not connected. So you can pull all the levers you like, nothing happens. So you've got to find another way to manage the process, which I think the likes of Smedley and many others have never quite understood.
So how do you manage that process? Because that's a key thing, obviously.
Well, clinicians basically are reasonable people, and if you work with them, most of them understand the issues and the limitations and the constraints, and they want answers, and they want it now. Whether it's the answer they want or not the answer they want an answer. And one of the strengths we had was we always put the CEO's office by the front door, so they were close to where the doctors came in and out. And we've seen it in the public sector here, where they took all the management out of the hospitals and centralised it, God knows where. And the frustration that came from the fact that no one could get an answer to anything. Whereas I think we gave our hospital CEOs the autonomy and the capacity to make decisions, and that earned the respect of the people they work with.